One believes things because one has been conditioned to believe them.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Champion Reads. Here we like to read, discuss, and share our thoughts, opinions, and you know what? We don't really review any books. We just like to talk about them. That's what we're doing here on Champion Reads. I'll be your one of your hosts today, co-hosting today with our executive producer, Mr. Ian Stermer in the house. And Ian, there's a change to your title, and I've got to say, author is a pretty cool title there. You want to tell us a little bit about your most recent release?
Yes, it is exciting, and I don't know if we'll review on this podcast my most recent one, but I just released my first children's book called Sunny the Yellow Swan. No spoilers here, but it's a reverse take on The Ugly Duckling. What if a beautiful duck was raised by ugly young swans. The swans will later grow up to be beautiful. The duck will grow up to be ugly. We don't get into that part of it too much, but storyline went through my head for many, many years playing with that. And through some help of technology and AI to fill in the gaps of what I could do, I was able to publish this book on Amazon. So it is available on Kindle. You can search my name, Ian Stermer, shameless plug here, or you can actually go to sunnytheyellowswan.com, and that'll take you right to the Amazon link. But kind of an exciting new thing to do to see if I can help to enrich lives of children growing up later on.
Yeah, that's something I love about working with you, as well as, Willie when he's here, and our team. We've got a bunch of great authors, and that's what makes this podcast, I think, so special, is that we not only talk about other books, but we're authors reading other authors' work. And it's a powerful reminder that we're all here to learn, we're all here to grow, and there's just so much perspective out there that we get to gain. So yes, thank you for the plug, Ian, and I'm grateful that we were able to highlight you and highlight that. It's exciting. Today is interesting because we have a new book that we're reading, and mistakenly John read and listened to the wrong book first, but he's now caught up with Ian. This book's called Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And it was written in 1932, and it's an outstanding work of literature, and it's more of a crucial and relevant topic, even more like today. So kind of a book ahead of its time, written for our time, more as a prophetic dystopian work of the 20th century. This book is also a powerful work of speculative fiction that has enthralled the terrified readers for generations, taking a look at the future. Brave New World is both a warning to be heeded and thought-provoking yet satisfying entertainment. And what I'm grateful that Ian caught me up on this, because when I was first reading the book, I was getting vibes of another great book called Sapiens, and I was like, okay, so we're talking about generations. But then I realized, one, it's a fiction book. Two, there are characters. And three, there are lessons to be learned and warnings to be heeded based on how we look at things. And it's interesting how we as a society look at the norms of our lives. Let's just take democracy for a second. Democracy is such a unique thing to fathom, because we believe democracy is the way, us as Americans, that's what we believe. And if you look at other parts of the world that may use democracy but not are a democracy, they're thriving as well. And so you take different perspectives of the world and you drop them in another culture and society, and you can take a look at things. Well, we decided that as we read this book, we want to review and share some of our thoughts and opinions on the principles that we're learning as entrepreneurs. Yay, surprise. That's what we do on the show. That's what we like to do, because as entrepreneurs, as dreamers and big idea people, and also people who like to read the works of best-selling authors and learn from the best of the best, this is a particularly interesting topic. So I'll tee Ian off to kind of give us kind of a background and some understanding, and to kind of dive into our first topic here. But I kind of wanted to lay the groundwork for Brave New World, and I'm loving this concept, because again, this is just another great opportunity for us to take a look at something from a different perspective. And when we chose this book, we decided, hey, we're not reading enough fiction books. Let's read more of a storyline, or let's read more of someone's history, without getting into I was going to say snooze fest, but for lack of a better word, biographies and autobiographies. We wanted to focus more on just the books that kind of shape the future. And that's what we're here to talk about. So I'll tee Ian off for just a second. But Ian, tell us a little bit about the book, the understanding, and let's dive into some topics.
Yeah, I love the phrase "books that shape the future," because this book is absolutely a classic, and one of a handful of books that truly did envision and you say shape the future. I don't know if it predicted the future or if the future followed along because of some of the things this book talked about. Quick synopsis for people who have not read this book yet. This is a book that takes place in the future. It is a future based on really communism and the Industrial Revolution. And what if society were genetically engineered to be like a machine? People were grown to fulfill various needs. They were modified in embryo. They were went through hypnotherapy as infants and children, so that they were physically, mentally, emotionally molded to fulfill various roles in society in a fairly strict caste system. The main character at the beginning, we're going to start at the beginning of the book, and we'll get into some of the later characters as we go on, but is Bernard Marx. Probably no coincidence. The last name Marx, as this does talk a lot about communism. His girlfriend, Lenina, a little bit of Marx and Lenin there. Just to give you an idea, as this is the early days of communism when this was written. But what I love about this book, and what I kind of was thinking as I read it this time, was as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of roles that we fulfill, from marketing, from C-level decision makers, to accountants, to creative advertising, to grunt muscle work, moving boxes. Everything that needs to be done, we do as entrepreneurs. And the question that kind of came to me as I was reading this is, how much of these things we do are because we recognize a problem and look at a solution and try and decide the best way to solve that? And how much is because we are conditioned to believe that that is what we were supposed to do? Now, I'm going to say something shocking and controversial, so get ready for this, Jon.
I'm ready.
You're sitting down, right?
I sure hope so.
Okay. On this podcast, we talk about the best books, the principles we learn from these great books. And I'm going to say something heretical here about what I think is the best of all the books we read. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, come on. Check the stats. Let's look at this. I'm just kidding. Keep going.
Great book. But once I've read it, and so many people read that, I start saying to myself, oh, this is sharpening the saw. This is beginning with the end in mind. Am I now taking the things that are happening and putting them into those roles and following the roles prescribed by Dr. Covey? as opposed to using those tools to grow and learn. And a lot of times I think I'm just fitting things into the boxes.
Yeah.
And that's what this book talks about. Let's create everything. No more decision making, no more wondering. You need a business plan, begin with the end in mind. Okay. First things first. Okay. Done it. And certainly there's benefits to these tools and using these books as tools. But do we also get stuck in there? And I'm going to finish my thought here with another analogy. We are close to coming up on one of the major American holidays right now. So if you're watching this later on, keep in mind that we are near the wonderful holiday of Black Friday. And as I'm scrolling through my Google News feed, and I'm getting advertisements and reviews from things, I'm seeing the same phrases. Amazon is listing this on pennies. They are practically giving this away. And it's like those two phrases are all I see in reviews of technology and things going on sale. Somebody came up with an idea. Now everyone uses it. Had a friend who was looking at a new business. Oh, I want to call it Synergy. Well, yeah, Google Synergy for a company and see what comes up. You will never be found because everyone talks about synergy. We get these buzzwords that we all have to use, and hopefully we get sick of them really soon and come up with new words. But coming back to this point, as I turn it over to Jon, how much of what we're doing as entrepreneurs are we truly being creative, thinking on ourselves, finding new solutions? And how much are we just throwing things into the box that we've been told is what we need to do? Now, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but maybe we need a different size wheel or a different position that it's put in. Or is the best way truly letting the Industrial Revolution and mass production and following our dear leader Ford, who is brought up in the book a lot, spoiler alert there. Oh, my Ford.
Oh, my Ford.
Good Ford. Is Ford the way forward? To just go for the most efficient way and get rid of any independent thought. What do we do as entrepreneurs, Jon? Help me out here.
Yeah, I'll start where you just finished. Independent thought. That is the powerful gift, and in my opinion, is one of the God's greatest gifts given to mankind. I have a bunch of things I want to add to what you shared, and I'll start with this. It is interesting that if we continue to follow the routine steps, the guidelines of ones who have authored the way for us, then we truly miss the mark on evolutionizing the world and revolutionizing the way we do things. Growing up, entrepreneur meant one thing to me as a kid. Entrepreneur meant I needed to invent something that would change the world. Now, I now understand that as a different role. I understand that inventors and engineers will create things that will change the world, but it's the entrepreneurs who come up with the ideas, surround themselves with the people that can bring those ideas to life, and then give them a platform, find a way to fund and make it come to fruition. So that's kind of what I've learned over time. But my initial understanding of entrepreneur, and I can tell when I talk to people, when I first meet them, that they kind of feel that way too, or they see that way, because they have their own job, they work a 9 to 5, they're a W-2 or whatever they might be. And anytime I tell them, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, I can see them look at me with those eyes like, oh, what have you created? Or what are you doing? They're looking for that instant validation of, okay, so what have you done, or what are you doing? And that's not the point, but to give them credit, an entrepreneur should have a long list of things that they're dreaming of. And I think when you give people the agency of thought, the ability to create, and look, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to do this. You are human, but you know, great advice is to really be careful about who you take advice from. And I say that like we're a podcast where we literally just share our thoughts, suggestions, opinions, and ideas. And so I'm literally telling people, don't listen to us and trust us just because we said it. Like, let's get that out of the way. I'm not here to spit truth and expect you to receive and understand and accept and believe everything that I say just because I said it. I share from experience, but and I do have passionate opinions, but it's okay. Like, I gained those from experience. I gained those from trial and error. And I saw a meme the other day, which really inspired me and reminded me of just why I'm on this journey. And it was, you might see success when we meet, but what you don't see is how many times I failed to make that success relevant. And that's important to me because every day as an entrepreneur is a day of failure. We say in the motivational speaking industry, today's another character building day. We've done it multiple times, and eventually we're going to do an entire. We'll eventually read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, but I go back to
Great
Benjamin
one.
Franklin and I talk about the creation of certain inventions, and again, the importance of try and try and try again and find different results is the inspiration why I always tell people, like, let's put on our lab coats and pretend to be scientists for a minute. Let's take emotion out of everything and let's just see what's working. And I love that perspective. But anyways, that's kind of, I have so many ideas and so many thoughts, but that was the first thing that came to mind. I don't want to monopolize our time here. There's a few other things I want to get to, but I just thought I'd jump in and share that.
Yeah, that's a challenge with this book is there is so much in there.
Yeah.
But I want to tie a couple of things you just said into this. What if you never had to create something? All you had to do was optimize it.
Mhm.
And that's one of the themes of this book. There's no new creations. You just get a little bit better at doing something. And with that, what if everyone was happy?
Hmm.
And that's one of the key things in this book. Everyone is happy, with the exception of two characters, Bernard and the main character, and Jon. We'll get into these characters probably in the next podcast. But if the premise of this, everyone is happy because they never have to wait for everything. They've got a non-addictive drug that just brings happiness and peace. There's no need to be creative and think of something new because everything is as it should be, because you've been conditioned to believe everything is as it should be. So what if we truly believed what we see in advertisements, that the Big Mac will bring a smile to our face, and all we have to do to solve family problems is go to McDonald's and sit down at that table with a Happy Meal for the kids and a Big Mac for us, and we are going to be smiling and laughing. No dish on McDonald's, but that's their commercials. If you look at that, if you had this new product, you would be happy. What if you had that product and you were happy? You actually were. And the people in this book are actually happy because they have been conditioned and told. One believes things because one has been conditioned to believe them. That's what's happened. We are conditioned to believe that we need to get a new thing to make us happy in our modern advertising world. But what if you were happy? As an entrepreneur, you had the path to follow. It worked. We knew it worked. So I know I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jon.
Okay.
A while ago, we read the book Launch,
Mhm.
and this is one you especially got very excited about. And you went through and followed this. And I don't want to ask you if you succeeded or failed in your launch, but when you followed through that steps, it probably wasn't the same as just sticking something in a box, or when you did go to put it in a box, maybe it didn't fit the way you thought it was supposed to. And I think that's part of life that we experience now. Things don't fit in the box we think they should.
Yeah.
But what if we could socially engineer everything and forget about innovation, forget about creating? What if we were happy right where we are? Um, that's the Luddites in, I believe, not ancient, 1700s England.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat if you remember historically when they happened. They said, we're happy where we are. We're not going to move forward. We don't want innovation. We don't want change. We have a farming system that works. We're going to stay with it. Where's that balance? Should we be creative? Should we optimize and strive to be happy? Okay, I just went all over with that one too. This is a really hard book to focus on.
Yeah.
What are we conditioned to believe? Where do we go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm lost. I'm struggling. Help me, Jon. Bring me peace. Bring me happiness.
Right. We all want to be happy, and we all want joy, and I think that's what we seek for here in the United States of America. We truly believe in the the initial rights, right? Our freedoms, life, liberty, and happiness, right? And we care about those things so much. It's ingrained in who we are and our expectations about society. And when other nations don't have it, we wear that sleeve of pride that, that's something that we have. And then we look outward and say, well, how can we help them have what we have? And it's interesting. I'm thinking about two companies. Number one, Lego, and number two, IKEA. I know, random, but when I purchased Legos, which I can't remember the last time I ever purchased a Lego, but let's just pretend I have. There's one thing I know is that there's a box full of Legos that will all be pieced together to build something really cool looking. And they give you a set of instructions. And if you follow those instructions to the T, you will get that exact thing that you purchased. And on a rare occasion, a piece is missing, but they always have extra pieces. They provide the fallback, right? They have things that will help you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Instant gratification. IKEA, they give you pieces of furniture and they try to explain in simple terms how to put together that furniture. Nowadays,
Yes.
you can assemble your own pod or your own home. You can ship them from Amazon. It's insane. But these instructions have conditioned us to say, you know what, someone smarter than me out there has already pre-programmed this to say that I can get exactly what I want, the way I want it, and how I want it. And to me as an entrepreneur, brilliant. Okay. What I really want to know is, like, can I have my cake and eat it too? Right. I want to make sure I want to be happy. I want to have joy, but can I also continue to be creative and invent and put things out there? And for me, the responsibility of entrepreneurism is to solve problems. It's to look at what the world wants and what the world needs, and to adhere to those aspirations. And because of that, I feel that entrepreneurs will always push the needle in the world. But in this dystopian outlook and fictitious prediction of the future, Aldous does a great job of showing what it would be like if we had everything we needed, if everything we wanted in life was accessible, and we could just order joy and never have to feel, a sadness or pain. And as an entrepreneur slash motivational speaker, I can't tell you how much the story of pain and failure resonates with people. And I think that as long as that becomes our story, and that's the thing that we see us triumphing, then we as a society will continue to have those are the best stories ever told, or those stories of failure. But then what happens from it? I think I said this in the last podcast, but I'll repeat myself. My favorite motivational speaker, one of his tapes I just grow up on listening to and really got motivated by was Les Brown. And Les Brown always had this saying that was, if you fall down, learn to fall on your back, because if you can look up, then you can get up. And that always reminds me of the will, right? The willpower to win, to get back up and try again. And I won't bring this up in depth now, but there's a great TV show drama on, I know I'm all over the place too, Ian. We're everywhere. But there's a great TV show and drama on Apple TV, and it's called For All Mankind. And it's basically a fiction-based storyline pivoting the future of space exploration from a world where the United States and Americans did not win the war against Russia, and yet Russia were the firsts to make man on the moon, and then also how space exploration became the future of our world. And it's literally just taking like a pike and pivoting it in one part of America of world history, and then going the different route against the odds of the what if the opposite had happened. And that, in comparison to this book, is very interesting to me, because I don't think that there's a right. I don't think that there's a wrong. I do think that there are many alternatives that lead to rights and wrongs. And wherever we land, there's still going to be that part of humanity that is, they need to create, they need to solve problems. You were mentioning a character in the book earlier, and how this person could have anything they wanted, but something that they did want was on back order for like a month, and how that was so traumatizing and so sad for them. And it's like, wait, wasn't this whole system created to avoid sadness, or to avoid the lack of joy? And it's very interesting how that we become the more that we have, the less we know about what we don't have when it's not there. And I think that's a powerful reminder. And I'll turn it back over to you, Ian. We can kind of wrap things up. I know we're ADHD today, but we're all over the place because, again, the topic is broad, but the topic is look at the world from a different perspective. Take a new lens and look at your life. What if you did not have what you have today? What if you did not have democracy? What if your neighbors were your enemies? What if your rights and freedoms were taken away from you? What would your life look like? And don't look at it from an emotional perspective. Put on that white lab coat and think about life from a perspective of just observation, a bird's eye view, and what it would look like, and how you could function, and would you succeed, and what would you do? And that's, I think, a really fun tool for the mind.
Yeah. Well, we need to do 1984 later on. That's the dystopian neighbors or your enemies, the counterpart to Brave New World. But we have an ADD, and I was recently diagnosed with attention deficit. Hey, did you do over there? Sorry, I shouldn't do that when you take a drink.
I did that on myself.
Yeah. But this book is about, what if you were happy? What if you had everything? And you truly were happy. And I'm a music lover, and we now have created where I can nearly instantly, within a couple of seconds, type on my phone, open up my music streaming program, type in my phone, and listen to almost anything I could ever imagine instantly, to listen to it. And in this world of instant gratification, technology that delivers a sonic fidelity higher than we've ever had before with some of this high resolution music files. And do you know what the fastest growing media is? Vinyl records, which I love and I listen to all the time. There was a quote in a fiction book I read recently. There's journey people and there's destination people. And Brave New World is all about a world where we have achieved the destination. We're there. We've got everything we want. No one is sad. No one is hungry. No one is sick. No one is old. One of the characters, Linda, who goes off into a reservation in the wild, savage people and comes back, and she's now old and wrinkled, and people can't imagine what it's like to live like that because there's no one in that situation. If we achieve that destination, we find that the people we care about, the main characters, realize where they're not happy.
Yeah.
We've achieved perfection in music. Instantly, on my phone, I can get anything I want in incredible fidelity. And I go over to my record shelf and I pull out a record and it pops and it hisses. And I've got to be super careful how I handle it. And I've got to listen because in a maximum of 23 minutes, I'm going to have to pick up that needle and take it off, or else it's going to keep spinning around that thing at the end. And if I walk too hard, it's going to skip. It's full of imperfection. I won't go into sound quality, or I'll get a huge discussion going on about whether high-res music or vinyl sounds better. But there's a trend now to go back to the old things. We're seeing that, it used to be just the hipsters who wanted to, ride a old-fashioned bicycle or something, or ride a camel through New York City. A great meme about that if you look it up. But as entrepreneurs, we really tend to be journey people. We want the process. We want to learn. We want to always be growing. And I can't necessarily imagine a point where we're no longer growing and we've achieved perfection, because perfection, it's not, I don't want perfection. I want to take that record. I want to have to focus and physically move it. And when I listen to a record, I listen to it. When I put my phone on, or I ask my friend's speaker, whose name I can't say or else she'll start talking to me, and tell her to play music, it's background. It's just there, and it's beautiful, and it's nice, and it's happy, but I don't listen to it. I don't enjoy it the way I do a vinyl record. And I think that's kind of a final point of what Brave New World is about. If you had everything you ever wanted and you truly believed you had it, whatever you didn't have, you truly believed you didn't want, are you happy? And honestly, according to the author, 99.999% of them are. But of course, the book is about that 0.00, I forget how many I had in there, 1%, who recognize they're not. And every one of us obviously is going to associate ourselves with that one who's not happy, because we believe we're the smart ones.
Yeah.
But are we? Or do we really follow along what we've been told and know that the new iPad is really going to change my life? Even though we don't know. I mean, iPad itself, did someone come out and say, I want an iPhone that doesn't make calls and won't fit in my pocket? Yes, that'll make me happy. Now, it has its purposes, but the new tool is, are we always, we're reaching for things, we're hoping for things, but we're never satisfied. And I think that's the joy of life. And I think that's what Huxley teaches us, is that it's the searching, the creating that brings us happiness. And achieving happiness should never happen.
Hmm.
Okay, I've pontificated enough for there.
Well, let's end how we began. And I love that, because the quote that we shared was, one believes things because one has been conditioned to believe them. And I'd like to continue that conversation in our next episode, as well as describe some more awesome principles that are coming from this book. But I think, again, just showing how excited we are about not only just teaching, but sharing the mindsets that we have on both the world, our perspectives, and all of its principles. And it's a great read so far, and thoroughly enjoying it. Don't know if we'll do two or three parts on this one, but stay tuned for the next episode, where we're definitely going to dive into this a little bit deeper and share some more of our thoughts and opinions and suggestions and ideas, because what a great outlook on some really awesome things here coming shortly. So on another episode of Champion Reads, we want to thank you for participating and share with us any of your thoughts. Do you love what we're saying? Do you hate what we're saying? And if you do, be nice, but let us know how we can get it right, or let us know what books we should be reading next, and we'll definitely take a look at that and add it to our list, because, as you know, we like to share at the end of each read our own rating, our own Rotten Tomatoes percentage of what we think this book is, and again, we're comparing, the cream of the crop to the cream of the crop. We're taking some of the best books out there. So, but I'd like to thank Ian for his time today, as well as this episode is brought to you by Champion Circle, our personal development association, to help entrepreneurs and business owners achieve their goals faster. And if you have any questions, you can go to mychampioncircle.com, where we have featured and shared a lot of great information about our different programs, our different educational things, as well as coaching and accountability, and these podcast episodes where you can get great content. So subscribe there. Let us know how we're doing. And we look forward to seeing you all next time on another episode of Champion Reads.